Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are going to be going into our next series here between Team Liquid and, of course, BBT, and it is MLP Dota and X5. Jonathan, welcome back, sir. We had a bit of an extended break, but we are back here for our second series of the day. How the hell are you feeling, sir?
Feeling great, Mike. We had a fantastic first series here on the stream, a nice 2-0 coming out from Quest with a lot of back and forth in that second game. I'm keen to see what happens in this one. Liquid up against BBT. This one has gone back and forth throughout the year. BB team has managed to get draws up against Liquid in both, in both the majors they were in, Berlin and Lima. They didn't manage to play against each other in Bali, but Berlin and Lima, they were both in the same groups, and they both went 1-1 up against each other both times. So I'm not too sure if that record breaks. I'm not sure if that shifts out here. I wouldn't be surprised if we see this going for a draw, but I also wouldn't be surprised by a 2-0 from either side. It feels like at their best, each team can kind of find that 2-0. It's just a matter of who is on point in this series. Who has, I don't know, the better time waking up, perhaps, or small factors like that coming in. I feel like skill-wise, this is pretty even across both ends.
I mean, this is the first series of the day for both these teams at the very least, so we'll find out who does wake up better, or rather on the right side of the bed. One of them's going to surely end up on the wrong side, or maybe not. Maybe both of them just put up the best series we've ever seen in the Riyadh Masters. We'll find out soon. We are going to have to wait, of course, for the draft to start in just a little bit, but before then, I imagine it is going to be a pretty close series. I think you and I both agree that there's a very high chance that we do see a draw coming up between these two teams. Example, I mean, Beppu beat Tundra yesterday 2-0. They beat Shopify Rebellion 2-0. BBT doing a fantastic job. Yeah, I mean, Liquid obviously not a team to be underestimated. Liquid constantly coming into those grand finals against Gaming Gladiators through the majors and all the other lands that we've seen as of late. But BBT, again, I feel like is the one team that actually put up a great fight against Game, and last time we saw that kind of grand final between those two. So I don't necessarily say BBT is the favorites, but at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if they were.
Yeah, I mean, they've got their foot up already with these 2-0s coming out in the groups. One could argue about the Shopify Rebellion one, as Shopify Rebellion's been a little bit more up and down. But the Tundra one certainly is a good mark here for BB Team. And again, it's been a little bit more rough and tumble for Team Liquid coming into the group stage here, getting draws up against Aster and TSM, which maybe sets the tone here, having to get a draw up against TSM. But to be fair, TSM has shown some pretty good improvements as well, so it's not fair to write that one off. But it's going to be an even one. Maybe slightly favored for BetBoom now, or for BBT, but we will find out. I'm keen on seeing it.
Be careful. Let's take it easy now. Yeah, I know I made the same mistake you just did, so we'll we've both made that mistake, quote unquote, right here. But BBT is BBT is BBT. We'll get into the draft very soon, as Game 1 draft has indeed begun. Team Liquid versus BB Team now officially underway. The Broodmother immediately being banned out. BBT, they'll get rid of the Timbersaw. Liquid, what else do you prioritize? Like, do you want the Chen removed? Do you want the Ent removed? Do you want the Undying removed? Are we aiming for those offlane micro heroes like the Beastmaster, the Lycan, the Broodmother? Well, the Broodmother was already banned, but you get my point. We'll see. Team Liquid, second ban.
5 seconds remaining.
I'm wondering if BB Team respect band, something like the IO here that Liquid loves to dip into. Just kind of cut off that big region source that a lot of teams have been prioritizing, opening up with something like the Lesh IO very early on, so wouldn't be too surprised if BBT. And out there you go, Undying and IO, immediately banned out by BBT. Liquid will start off with a Snapfire though, so they get to pick up one of the most busted heroes this patch, it does feel like, considering a lot more of the universal cores have been nerfed to hell. Not Snapfire. She's still up there. She still has that really good ramp up from lane, has a lot of presence as a mid, as an off lane, and support. A lot of flex for Liquid very early on here.
Keeper of the Light are going to come out for BBT though into the Storm, so they are going back for this combination. So we know GPK loves playing the Storm Spirit mid, so it's no surprises that they want to go back for this. See, they ended up banning the IO themselves, so they didn't have that option available to them, and well, the Pugna support hasn't felt quite as strong as it used to, so no team's going for that either. Instead, just the Keeper of the Light will do the job. Why the hell not?
Yeah, it gets the job going for your Storm here. There's an argument for a Lion, Mike. Mana Drain Restore on allies. It's a lot better than Pugna. It's better than Pugna now. There is.
Is it though, John? You need to hit level 15. If it was level 10 talent, I'd say maybe. Level 15, it's too much.
It's a little bit long in the tooth, but yeah, it can still work. There's still value in it for sure. I don't think any team's ever going to pick Lion Storm, to be fair. But I always like it's just fun because it's so funny. His shard interaction's so weird because if you do it in the middle of the fight, you actually do mana drain other heroes while mana draining your ally. You will still fork into 2 other heroes, so it's pretty funny. It is a lot of regen, but not completely viable. The Storm pickup for BBT, as you mentioned, GPK does love this here down mid. Having to try to deal with a snap mid from Nisha could be a little bit annoying. I love the response from Liquid, just going into the silencer here as well. That does protect your Snapfire pick from an enemy silencer on top of that. You should expect the kisses to go with no real problem here as long as you pin down the Storm. And it does give you a really solid lockdown for the Storm Spirit, forcing out something like the BKB build-up here for GPK, which can feel a little bit uncomfy for the Storm. You know, Storm Spirits tend to have to go for the usual Witchblade and the Falcon Blade, and usually into a Kaya Sanj. Now you're going to have to try to fit the BKB in that sequence, and that does limit your scale up, your early aggression for the Storm Spirit. So I like the response from Liquid, just to force that itemization, and just to have really strong lanes. We've seen Silencer in a lot of dual lane setups. Silencer Bloodseeker is one. It can feel pretty strong. Like, the harassment the Silencer has in lane is pretty hard to fight up against.
It is. We'll see if Liquid do prioritize something like the Bloodseeker, or whether BBT are just going to go ahead and ban it out. Now they'll get rid of the Darkseer, so Team Liquid get rid of the Lycan. I think BBT have had the better time in the groups as of so far. I mean, we are only into day 2 of the groups anyway, so it's still pretty early. Liquid maybe just struggling to get things started, but we know how this team works. You know, they're a bit slow on the start, but they tend to take over pretty darn quick in various tournaments that they play. As we are going to see the Nagasaro now being removed by Team Liquid. BBT. See if they continue focusing on the offlane bannouts. Zai's one of those players, right? Like, he's just been so consistently good for such a long time. It feels like half the time you need to focus on these guys' picks. Just in case he brings out something a bit too cheeky.
Preventing any sort of surprises here. Really dig into the reserve just a little bit here on BBT. Naga has been... Illusion Heroes have been popping back up, to be fair. Has had a lot of presence. Naga, TB, PL all have been heavily in the meta. I don't mind that too much. These are pretty big comforts for Pure. BBT, take care of the Visage, which also has been popping up. Zai is a bit of a menace on that Visage. So really heavily targeting that offlane right now for BBT, which is fair. Zai tends to set that tempo for Liquid after a strong start. There are more things for them to lean into. I wouldn't mind something like, say, the Underlord being left in the pool for Liquid. Zai can play with the Fiend's Gate quite offensively. Ties in quite nicely with your Snap, just having a bit of Malice to play with. Another bit of control for the Storm during the Global Silence. Liquid again emphasizing pure heroes, away with the Terrorblade. Maybe an argument for a PL this game. Not the best way of clearing it out from Liquid, to be fair. Like, a Snapfire can somewhat deal with it early on. Once the heart is up, you can't magically nuke down as well. And you're going to be waiting for your level 25 talent for you to try to manage the illusion spam later on. So PL can still feel pretty good for BBT left in the pool, but gonna have to sit through their next ban first.
The final ban to come. BBT really thinking about it. We just another Zai here to be banned out again. I do think it's... Well, in fact, they ban out the Clockwork this time. Fair enough. BBT into the Older Titan. This hero has slowly been making a reappearance. I think it's a pretty damn good way of just cancelling off the kisses from the Snapfire. So you're still going to have issues here against the Silencer, but it is one way of dealing with the Snapfire, that's for sure. Obviously, the Elder Titan, just one of those heroes where you throw an Astral Spirit in, you get that magic resistance removal against the enemy, and with heroes like Keeper and Storm, that's a lot of damage to be taken.
It certainly is. Also gives them really strong lanes to play with here in BBT. There's a lot of aggression early on that a Kotl and Elder Titan can kind of do. You can even look for an early tri-lane with these 2+1 core, and you're pretty set for a good early first blood if you want to play offensively here in BBT, and we have seen them do that before. I like this pick. It fits their playstyle quite nicely, as you mentioned. Good way of picking up the back line on that Snapfire, getting some good magical decrease with your Storm Spirit and Kotl, and you don't worry too much. You really just want to get off to a strong laning start here for BBT, into the point where you've got enough chakra to enable your Storm. Enigma's been left alone, which is, you know, a little bit strange, as we saw a lot of Enigma in the play-ins, and Liquid does pick it up for themselves. So they've got this big option now for potentially Zai to just play in the offlane. He does love his Enigma. And just kind of scale up on. Always have the threat of the black hole ready. You don't have anything like the silencer to worry about. There's no room for Rubik here on BBT. But able to try to steal those black holes. You can just go for that full black hole emphasis here. With a BKB up, you have nothing to pierce through the debuff immunity you will have on Zai. So it's going to be smooth sailing for like a and BKB if you want to go that route.
Oh, Gyrocopter comes out now from BBT. Not something I was quite expecting. Because Team Liquid also choosing something I wasn't expecting in the Tiny. So two heroes that I wouldn't think were in the game come in here. BBT, more so the Gyrocopter, something I haven't gotten to see very often. It is very strong in conjunction with the Order Titan though. Like the 100% base armor reduction, you know, with all the physical damage the Gyro can deal later on, is huge. And as well as that, of course, the magic resist with the rocket barrage during the laning stage, the magic resist reduction that is from the Order Titan, is also pretty huge when you've got a Gyrocopter in the laning stage. So I do like it. If it is going to be an offlane Enigma to boot, John, the Gyro doesn't have too many issues with that. You know, Flat Cannon removing the Eidolons pretty quickly. Gyrocopter is still one of the more lane-dominant position ones you can go for. I like it. I actually think it's a pretty nice Gyro game.
Yeah, it can pan out pretty well for BBT. A lot of early aggression with the Gyrocopter here. Maybe a little bit of awkwardness in scaling. Gyro is still one of those heroes that it can scale up, but we haven't really seen a Gyrocopter carry through ultra late game scenarios too recently. Still, BBT lining themselves up for a lot of early aggression. I'm wondering where Liquid goes with this draft. Are we just going to have a support Tiny coming out for Boxy? Are we seeing some flex with Nisha on a Tiny mid? Although Tiny mid against Storm is not a necessary swap out. I think the Snapfire lane for Nisha is still pretty easy going here. And I suppose there's always the off chance of like a mid-hit Tiny, but and you should just probably stick with Boxy. An Enigma Tiny lane can still be rather annoying. It's pretty easy to set up for tossbacks with Malefice. It's not going to be the hardest thing in the world for Boxy to try to chase here. But again, into a Gyrocopter, that's easier said than done to look for that kill. So I love the setup coming out from BBT. Banning offlaners here, the side of Liquid, just ensuring Nightfall won't have the smoothest time taking care of that LC and Doom. BBT themselves respecting that Morphling of Mika or Nisha, if they do want to flex around. Again, always an option here for Liquid. What else are they worried about? Stuff like, I suppose something like a Faceless Void can still fit in for Liquid if it's not banned out here.
We'll see if they want it.
There
Oh,
it
there you go,
is.
John. Gets banned out. Very good prediction.
Easy.
Liquid. Easy indeed. Liquid. Yeah, take it when they come, Jonathan. You take anything you get.
Take
Liquid.
anything, like.
Final pickup. They do still have options like the Jug if they wanted to go down that route. Lifestealer might be kind of nice here if they wanted to go down that route. 20 seconds reserve time left to think about this one. Still needing a position 1, unless we're seeing the return of Pos 1 Tiny, which I highly doubt.
Probably not. I feel like a Bloodseeker would fit in pretty nice. Bloodseeker Silencer lane's not the worst in the world. You can scale up into the Gyrocopter fairly okay. You can go for a Blade May build if you feel the need to. Instead, they go with a Slark, which has been left. That's a hero that's been under contention multiple times, and you have some AoE damage to deal with Slark, but it's not going to be the most straightforward. It can get on top of a Gyrocopter, make his damage output really meaningless, and build off pretty nicely. A Slark plus Silencer lane is also pretty damn strong, and slow setup for the pounce can be quite nice, and the output of both Silencer and Slark in lane is pretty damn high. BBT still looking for that Nightfall hero on the off lane. not too many options left. I mean, a lot of the zoo heroes are still available. Beastmaster still on hand if they want that. Laning into Slark, not the worst. Into Silencer, pretty annoying. Arcane Curse cuts off your axe spam. But if you can somehow make it manageable, like you end up with a Beastmaster Kotl lane, that can be pretty nice. Even Beastmaster Elder Titan, also a lot of aggression early on. If you want to go that route for Nightfall.
We'll see. 15 seconds left, BBT. Not too much time left to think about this.
Enchantress.
Oh,
Oh.
it's going to be the Ench flying out. So either an Ench off lane or an Elder Titan
No,
off lane we're looking at.
pure
Oh, it's the
Ench.
pure off lane Ench. We've seen this though before. We did see this before. It was either Bali or before that. We saw it at some event. And Pure basically just carried the game on this Ench. So this offlane Ench, it can hurt a lot. And I think, in fact, we saw BBT playing this Ench on Save. Was it yesterday against Tundra, I think? I was watching a game, and Save literally just carried the game as a POS 5 Ench. It was kind of ridiculous. In fact, I say POS 5, it was a POS 4 Ench, but regardless, basically the same thing. It was pretty ridiculous damage output. I like this. I think it's a good way of dealing with the Slark and the laning stack.
That it is, but you're not laning into the Slark for Pure. He is still going to have to deal with the Enigma, so you're not going to have the Gyrocopter to clear out the Enigma here. The lane should still be manageable for Pure. As a quarry, of course, you're probably just going to go for your impetus shots. Anyway, the core-to-core matchup is really awkward for a Slark. It does feel like you're going to need a break on hand, as you will just not want to deal with Untouchable. You're all right-click on Mika. So you're going to need to dig your way through that Untouchable here on Pure. Down the line, early on, the lanes are looking pretty well set up for both sides. There is a lot of aggression coming out for either one here, and I can see it kind of coming out for both sides, depending on how well these lanes go. I feel like this off lane for Nightfall with a Gyro can actually handle a Slark pretty well. That's not a safe lane for a Slark to get aggressive, trying to look for trades, trying to build up an Essence Shift early on. So I can see Nightfall just applying a lot of early pressure with a Rocket Barrage and a Homing Missile, and just ensuring that it's going to be a slower start here for Mika. So should be a fun one. This is a rather fun draft coming out from BBT and from Liquid. Like, you've always got this wombo combo potential coming through here with Liquid, with the Black Hole and Kisses. And again, no easy way of stopping that from the side of BBT. Once a BKB is up for Zai, then he is free to do what he wants in the middle of here. No one can naturally go for something that pierces through.
Of course, we did have a quick pause, which is why we were delayed into going to the game, but here we are. Of course, pauses are currently the worst enemy of BBT. We just handcuff their players during the pauses. That'd be probably the best way to go about it.
It's all fine.
Handcuff,
No.
blindfold, lock the PC, throw the PC out the window, anything. Anything, boys. Just don't alt-tab. That's the rule. Take the alt-tab keys off the damn keyboard.
That's all they need. No, Pure's not going to need tab anyway. It doesn't have anything to micro. I mean, you could micro with enchant,
Excuse
but...
me?
Huh?
How dare
Yes?
you? How dare you say Pure doesn't have anything to micro, Dan? Excuse me, John?
Dan? Who's Dan?
Oh, you know, I don't even know where Dan came from. I don't even know anyone called Dan. It just came out.
You've
All right,
got
John?
issues, Mike.
I'm
Got a lot
not
of
cheating
issues.
on you, I promise.
Got a lot of issues, buddy. I can't help with that. I've got a lot of issues as well. So it's
I can't say
understandable.
anything. I can't say anything in English without you calling me out. Terrible.
I've got
Toxic
some
relationship
terrible
of ours.
pronunciation. It's fine. It's a name. Now, where did Dan come from?
We'll talk about it later, John.
Begins.
In private. BBT, they're going to secure the bottom bounty. They get 3 for 1. Nice little net worth advantage here for BBT going into this game 1. Team Liquid won't mind too much. We'll start with the bottom lane, of course. Insania and Mika going to be up against Pure and Save. How do you feel this lane goes? Because it does feel like it may be a bit of a challenge here for Mika to sustain himself. Yes, you have the POS 5 Silencer, but this is against the Keeper of the Light and an Ench lane. Feels pretty toxic to have to play up against.
That it is. It's a lot of harassment coming out from Pure early on. I mean, it's very self-sustaining as well. There's a couple of impetus shots. You can always just blinding light forward and just keep that harassment going. Not going to be the best of times for Insania. Mika should be able to manage, but you're going to have to eat through a lot of regen. Already has the 2 set of tangos ready on Insania. And You are getting space out for Mika, but if Pure can start the Lando shots onto Mika instead, starts to feel a little bit worse for wear. But again, you should expect this lane to be a little bit tougher.
Pure was trying to connect there onto Insania with an impetus shot, but loses vision. It was mid lane. You're seeing GPK take a lot of damage here from Nisha. We've seen the Snap buy versus Storm mid matchup enough times to know the Snap might just have an inherent advantage. Just that attack animation was so nice in that mid lane in a 1v1 matchup. GPK, he might need some help later on. Nisha might just take over as levels do come up.
That he will. You can't really leverage your Electric Vortex Power Spike on the Storm here. It's not really easy to come up and Static Remnant the wave as well, as Nisha's always got great potential. Very straightforward for a Snap, and GPK's doing a good job of just equalizing in farm. Not going to look to dance around too much in that Storm matchup, and should boil down to a bit of a farming lane until power runes are up. Up top, you can get a little bit more trading done between these two. We've got Boxy on that Tiny with Zai. On that Enigma we've seen pop up quite fairly often. Nightfall on the Gyrocopter along with Toronto Tokyo and that Elder Titan. And you've got some play potential. Once you've got the natural order up, you can line up the stomp, the homing missile. You've got a lot of hold. You have to respect the output.
That's a big avalanche. That's a huge avalanche on the Nightfall. But the stomp does come in. Toronto Tokyo going to protect their Nightfall. Still sticking around. May pay for it. Woo, 15 HP. He'll survive. And Zai's the one to go down. Toronto Tokyo ends up getting the job done. But my god, Nightfall, he was right on the edge there. That tree toss almost taking him out.
Yeah, just barely stays alive. Really good stomp coming out from Toronto Tokyo to break up that chase from the side of Liquid. And Liquid, I appreciate the aggression here, but have to respect that counter control. And not a lot of hold coming out from bbteam to stop the aggression. And Nightfall's just going to be topped up with tangos coming through here from Toronto Tokyo anyway. They're going to be more than happy. This is them taking that fight without the Rocket Barrage threat as well, or the higher levels than the Flak, which is when things start to get a little bit dicey in trying to gap close onto the Gyrocopter. And there's a lot of play potential over the Malefice.
This mid lane, GPK forced to go back for the bounty rune. It's just so dangerous. This top lane, Toronto Tokyo, going to get jumped. Boxy does not have the toss. Toronto Tokyo going to be just fine to walk his way out. That mid lane matchup as well, like, GPK's really been copping it from Nisha. It's still an even affair when it comes to the CS board, but it is getting to the stage now with their level 2 Scatter Blast and level 2 Cookie. It's just so much damage Nisha can pump out if he can land the stun. GPK, Cookie is there. Nisha, not going to have enough for the kill this time, but he's getting very close.
Eesh. It's not comfy. Like, again, the Storm has to go really up close to the wave, giving a lot of openings to Nisha for harassment, and he's just lining up. He knows GPK is not going to walk all the way back, cutting off his access into the water rune as well with his positioning.
He guessed this. You might assume GPK was still there. Cookie? Oh, it's not on the mark. Nice attempt from Nisha. He might still go for the level 3 Scatter Blast if GPK is not too careful, but instead will go for the water rune.
Dire are scanning.
Oxy will secure the other. No water runes going the way of GPK means no bottle refill. He might just walk back to the fountain this stage. So he does have full mana, so he may as well go to the jungle for a little bit. But this mid lane is an outright win, I'd say, for Nisha.
Yeah. Just not getting the scaling you'd want here. The leveled scaling you'd want early on for GPK. Nisha's going to have 6 a lot faster. Kill threats always online with Snap once those kisses are up top, getting a little bit aggressive.
Gonna try into the Enigma. Zai can be fine. Insania now rotating over to try and help out as Toronto Tokyo gonna get avalanched by Boxy. They already committed the toss, so Toronto, he has some way out of this, but Boxy still chasing him down with the vision out, has the tree toss and will connect perfectly. Very nice rotation from Insania to ensure nobody drops from Liquid. Sadly for BBT, they get nothing out of this initiation.
Just a little bit of a deeper dive forward. Trying to get Nightfall some value to flax onto multiple heroes, but not enough. They have left Mika alone. They can't attempt onto the Slark early on here.
Still has the level 1 pound slow. I mean, they can slow his farm down, at least. Like, now that Mika is by himself, they know that he can't really farm. Nightfall, again, top lane is going to try onto Zai just a little bit. Meanwhile, GPK's being just hunted by Boxy. I love this from Boxy. Like, he knows GPK can't lane anymore. So he just follows him across the map, trying to see if he can find him on low HP. This time around, he will not get so lucky. But they're pressuring the mid-tier 1 tower with the siege creep timing of Nisha. He's got the level 6 up, so if GPK gets caught with 1 stun, he's as good as dead. He does not have his zip available. He's still level 5. Boxy's trying to move in. He will have the stick charges for an avalanche if he wants to try for this. But it seems like they'll play it safe. They'll just keep going after that tier 1 mid tower, and well, Boxy will just keep soaking XP from GPK.
This is not a good feeling right now for GPK. At the very least, he's managed to stall out. Well, one more camp should give him his level 6, or a camp and a half. And once that is up, he's much more secure.
Yeah, Pure just gonna get destroyed down to the bottom lane. Nisha making a very unexpected rotation. Gets the cookie onto Mickey and allows a very easy kill for himself. BBT just have no response to this.
They're too caught up elsewhere. You can't really abandon any of your lanes. You're not in position for GPK to start rotating. He does have his 6, but no mana. Not going to get a top-up anytime soon as well, so the Storm's left again, walking back to base, maybe clearing out a camp, giving a bigger advantage once more onto Nisha. He does have the double crowns ready, and going to have a really good timing into that early Rod of Atos for that solo hold. Overall, a pretty strong start for Liquid in the laning phase. Maybe slowing down a little bit with Zai's farm, but it's an enigma. It's going to catch up either way with the Eidolon spam onto the creep wave and in the jungle. Side of BBT starting to clump up a little bit up top, but so is Liquid.
Nightfall's got to be very careful. They'll jump in with the avalanche. Boxy has the toss back into the Eidolons. There is going to be a stomp from Toronto trying to help out, but Nightfall is still dropping way too quick and does go down. At least Toronto does get a kill onto Zai, but now the body blocks with the Eidolons coming in as Zai just going to hold him down. Toronto! He's going to try with the stomp to get away. He'll get every single Eidolon. Boxy's got the hand up. He's got a toss available, but needs the vision. Roshan, help me out, he says. He'll get the deny off in time. Nice play from Toronto. But it's still a huge win for Liquid. They got the position 1 gyrocopter. That's all that matters.
Doing a great job of just slowing down this ramp up for Nightfall. And still flash farm quite nicely in the jungle. While that's happening up top, there was a little bit of a rotation mid onto Nisha, but just don't have enough burst to deal with a snap. Again, double crown plus a bracer. So much HP on hand, not enough burst coming out from BBT. And that just holds up from any response up top as well. Not able to find any further punishment. So much space given out to Mika down bot.
This could be a big one, John. Nisha, he's by himself in the mid. There's going to be TP rotations coming in. You've got Toronto Tokyo there to try and set up, but here comes Boxy, not showing yet. Now it does the cookie. Setup is perfect, but the stomp is there in time. Nisha, now the one being hunted. Oh, the scatter blast. It's not going to be enough. GPK with the raindrops does block out most of the damage as Boxy is still trying, but can't get him. Close, but no cigar for Liquid. EBT, they were ready that time around.
Just bring the numbers in. Got the damage output. Really good stomp once more from Toronto Tokyo, positioning that spirit quite nicely in the middle. And not the healthiest mana pool to play with there for a snap. Just barely enough to try to sustain through up front. Maybe not expecting the multiple hero rotation considering the activity up top. They've done a good job on BBT to just slow down Nisha a bit, allow some recovery for GPK with these kills. Now only 200 gold behind on Storm. Just a little bit behind in EXP. The mid still falls.
GPK. He's going to land onto GPK. We'll zip away. Last word was out, but won't matter when you can just zip. Like I said, the mid-tier 1 tower is still down, which is a huge win for Liquid. Nisha's still top of the net worth board as well on the Snapfire. Sure, like your Rod of Atos timing got slowed down a little bit, but maybe it can slow down even more if he's not careful. Zip in, GPK got the Vortex off, but Nisha does pounce away from the Earth Splitter. They will not have enough, and they don't even get a power rune out of this. The Arcane Rune spawns bottom. So all that for nothing.
It's risky now. They can't afford to force another fight here on Liquid, knowing that a few spells are down. Toronto.
Poor old Toronto Tokyo. Back to Japan, I think Jonathan is on Nisha. Gonna have the cookie. Tokyo. Try with the stomp. Won't be able to get it. Should be an easy kill for Nisha. No problems.
And all this activity
BT,
again. Onto mid and top. Like, this is just leaving a solo lane for Mika. You're still finding decent farm on Pure as well, but you're not really putting a dent on that Slurk. Nightfall is still farming confidently, and it is a Gyrocopter with a flak, so he's going to build up faster, but Mika is going to be allowed to hit that Echo Saber timing with not too much difficulty here.
GPK gonna narrowly avoid the gank in from Boxy. Pure's been very quiet this game on the Ench, but he's hit almost level 8 now on the Enchantress. Has the Rod of Atops very, very soon. Just needs the recipe now. Meanwhile, Mika's been doing a decent job of farming, sitting at 4.3k almost on the slot. There goes that T1 bottom tower. Pure will end up dealing with it just fine. Meanwhile, top lane, BBT have grouped up for a 3-man attempt. At top onto Zai, perhaps they will zip in. Zai, though, will have the assistance there, but it's not enough yet. They will get a mid-toss. Boxy, he's going to try to go for a run. The chase is on. Liquid cannot protect their Tiny. He will drop freely as BBT hitting 2 for nothing. In fact, they want Nisha. EPK, he won't go much further, though. He's out of mana.
Still have that sustain from Chakra, though. It's not going to be out of mana for too long. He has to watch himself. Has Insania to back him up, but no GS here.
We'll get the haste. They toss from Nisha, but now he's going to be kind of surrounded. TP's in immediately from Liquid as the kisses are going to fly out. He's going to try for something. Going after save on the Keeper. Save will survive. Nice little attempt from Nisha, but not quite enough.
I love this gank squad coming out from BBT. Understanding you're running a combination with your Storm, you can afford to sustain with a Chakra at level 3 now, coming out from save. You're buying a ton of space out for both Pure and Nightfall to farm up, and the Jara and Ench. And your timings are lining up. Like, you know that it's going to take a lot longer for the Slark to have some impact, so you can afford to leave Mika alone. You've delayed these timings from Zai. He's still trying to go for the Solar Crest and the Midas. Has some room in his Triangle now to farm. But you only really have one here to play with right now on Liquid, and that is Nisha. And you don't have the best lockdown for the Storm until that Global Silence is up. You're inching towards it for Insania, but until it's up, GPK is just going to be free to zip around like a madman.
Glad he certainly is. 4-6 now, 2k advantage standing for the Dire. Rotations up top, BBT again with the 3-man. Looking at Zai on that Enigma. Oxy's there as well. The zip is out immediately from GPK. Zai can do nothing to survive. Zip in again. GPK maybe going too far this time as Nisha's going to move in with the run of Atos. Hits the Scatter Blast. The toss up. GPK is still walking but can't make it out. The Global Silence will ensure he has no way out of this one. So not a bad fight at all for Liquid. Like, you lose your position 3 Enigma for a position 2 Storm. I think you take that trade any day of the week.
That you will. And Zai's been having a rough game anyway, not as high of a target as it would be on the Storm. And that is a pretty big commitment from the Global Silence, and seeing you just hit 6 as that fight freaks out. It's more than worthwhile to finally get something going for yourself here on Nisha, trying to catch up into his travels timing. BBT still in the lead, still 2k up, still a lot of room out for Nightfall and Pure. And the Ags rush for Nightfall, shaping up very nicely here, right after that Falcon Blade, going back for the old school build, nothing too different here, into the BKB. And you've got the Atos ready on Pure. The moment the Ench does show up in these fights, with the Atos and the Impetus, it's going to be a lot of damage. You only really have Global Silence for your real hard control. Avalanche Toss, not the most reliable from a Tiny, at least until that blinks up for Boxy.
Another group up top lane. BBT now has 5 heroes. Boxy's gonna avoid the gank. Gyrocopter Nightfall, he's got the Ags up now. They're gonna head towards the tier 1 top tower, but Liquid starting to group up, thinking about a defense attempt. GPK will zip to the high ground of the Radiant Triangle, but finds nobody around that area. They've got control of the Watcher anyway, so you'd know if someone was there. T1 tower still going down. Liquid not looking to try and defend, but rather take the bottom tier 1 instead, as Zai is doing so. They even found both Wisdom Runes with that, because Mike just runs up and grabs it off the Dire's side. So you do get a bit of an XP bonus out of this. Is now saved, move into Boxy. Rod of Atos is out from Pure, holding it down. Boxy gonna get cookied out by Nisha. They'll go for the call down. He will not connect though. Boxy is still duking them out, but eventually they'll have their way with it. Nightfall will take the kill. Do you want to stick around for a tier 2 tower?
You could. It's just a matter of is it worthwhile, considering all the space being given out to Zion.
GPK doesn't zip far enough. Decides to not go any further. Who needs a tier 2 anyway when you've got the mid tier 1 to take? Problem is, can you keep Nightfall alive down a bottom lane? Because Mickey and Zai, they're watching him at the moment on the gyro. Backing off at the right moment, but that next creep wave might be a little bit too tempting for Nightfall not to take. They're even bringing a third hero now. Zai, he might just have to commit the black hole. He won't do so. It's just the Malefice and Global Silence, but it's not going to be enough for Nightfall to go down. So now the turnaround is here. Zai will get stomped by Toronto Tokyo. Going down. GPK out of mana, but the chase is still on for Mickey as they have the Chakra Magic. Mickey still running. Might just make it up. He has the Shadow Dance anyway, so he's not going to drop. But they will protect the bottom tier 2. They'll find Zai for their trouble. And Zai seems to be just a constant victim of Liquid. Just 5 deaths already in the Enigma, just not able to have a game. Even queuing up the Midas already.
He's had that Midas queued up ever since laning phase. He's just wanted to go into it after the Solar Crest and still not finding that timing. Really great punishment out from BBT. Just ensuring that the offlane momentum for...
mid lane, like you can't show yourself against this this Storm and Coddle because it's just infinite mana coming in. Though as I say that, GPK getting tossed up into the cookie at Nisha maybe goes down and does. Like Mickey showing up, Toronto Tokyo being targeted by the Slark, but is going to be okay to leave the area. Nisha will chase for more. It looks like they are going to spot out save with Boxy. Boxy does have the avalanche, but is not within range to land it. Now he will be fighting off save. We'll find another for Nisha. Run of Atos to land. Cookie to follow up. And eventually they'll pick off save as well. Great plays from Liquid.
That's big. Early activities to get out here for Mickey, getting his first Gremlin Agi stack. His Ags almost done here. Just gonna go for the disassembly play on that Echo Saber to finish it up. We'll have the double pounces with increased range to have to deal with. And your hold for the Slark is also rather limited, as long as you play smartly here with a Dark Pack for Mika. It's all down to jumps. Who gets the angle first? The Orchid up for GPK could simplify that process onto Mika. One good angle is all it takes before the Dark Pack flies on, and you've got control.
You are. There's a bounce in for Mickey. Problem is GPK is around the corner and Pure gonna lock him down. Mickey in huge trouble is gone. GPK, he's got the Orchid up now, so you can't make those aggressive plays anymore. See, Mickey did not know about the Orchid. He'll have to find out the hard way.
Good punishment. Really great reveal out from BBT. Just as the full Orchid comes in, instantly finding the kill. Knowing that, yeah, it's all about Dark Pack usage here for the Slark. You have to find that good tempo for yourself. They do take the gate across, but there is vision here from a Liquid to provide that information. They see that clump up top. Not going to force anything too hard as mid.
Nightfall's getting aggressive on his own with this BKB. He's going to find Box. Oh, no, he's not. No, he is not. Nisha. He saves the little shredder with a homing missile. Quick thinking from Nisha will save his support's life. And that is a BKB usage from Nightfall. That was his 9-second charge. That's something.
It's not insignificant, Bull.
Sounds a bit too late. The pounce was there first. GPK just immediately zipping out. Immediately with the voice lines to boot, as it seems like BBT. They'll go through the twin gates. This is being watched by Liquid, but it won't matter. They don't really have the plays to make the fight happen any longer.
No. So just a little bit too much committed out. Once the global silence is down, and you don't manage to pin out in the storm, GPK has a pretty free time dancing around here with the sustain. Just gonna have to let it go. Look for that tier 1 tower push. There is a lot of pressure coming in down bot, just with the enchanted creep coming out from Pure. They are getting some good split push going their way here. Not enough to really fully threaten as well. Still have that vision in play to spot any rotation back through the gate. BBT, pinks were coming out. They are still standing by the gate, but you could just go for the Roche instead. They've got the output with Nightfall early on here.
This is where things get scary though against the Ench as well, right? Because Pure's got the Axe up. The Sprink is now up. That's a 4-second cooldown, keep in mind. So his farm is going to escalate like crazy all of a sudden. And in the middle of these fights, again, this Ench can just deal so much damage if it's left alone. Roshan is indeed going down for free. Liquid, they do scan it out. It seems like it's going to be way too late for them to try and contest. Roshan freely going the way of BBT. Happily taking that, knowing the global silence was not available. Immediate TP's up toward the top lane here for Nightfall. He'll be on his own. The rest of BBT just going to stick around at the bottom side of the map. Start pressuring the tier 2 bottom tower. Just feeling very confident. Aegis up, Ags up on Pure. The next fight, it could be very challenging for Liquid.
What they really need right now is Zai's blink. Like, this Enigma has to have some impact. Zai has to be careful with his positioning. Can't afford to really show too far forward down bot. BBT looking for that quick shove in. Got the resources on hand. So close to that blink. Just 200 gold away. He even has the Philo Stone. Good old Zai. Seeing that he's had a rough lane. He's getting some recovery. One good black hole. And you can actually just keep taking these fights. But it's difficult. Even the blink alone without a BKB not going to be too safe for Zai.
Sunny doesn't feel that way. Liquid, smoked, looking for the opportunity. Link still 100 gold away, but they're going in early. Oxy's going to start with Toronto Tokyo. They have not bursted him down yet. Toronto is extremely low and finally goes down, but Boxy may have to trade his life away for this. He will try to abuse the Shadow Amulet, but it is not going to be enough. Nightfall will take the kill onto Boxy. Pure still going. Kind of trying to abuse the Sprink. We'll back off eventually. Now the blink is officially up on Zai. See if Liquid want to try and smoke off this. But Zai has shown underneath the creep wave, so BBT, they may have spotted that, though maybe not. We'll see.
Yeah, it's still challenging. It still does feel like Zai needs that debuff immunity here to really be secure. A homing missile precast, a good stomp coming out from Toronto Tokyo with the Spirit. Very safe to kind of go for those cancellations onto Zai. So still gonna have to wait a little bit longer here on Liquid. Mind you, as this game scales up, it's not the most awkward thing in the world for Liquid to try to scale into. You've got the snap you can fall back to. The gyrocopter is a little bit of an issue, for sure, and so is the Ench, in terms of how you pin down the Ench and the Storm with how mobile they are. It's going to be down to really good spell usage. Liquid has to coordinate as a team really well, which their lineup is known for, but sometimes it can fall a little bit flat when the execution's really that high up. And for BBT, it's much more straightforward. You can stand in front with your gyrocopter, you can have Pure just doing what he wants. As long as the global silence doesn't catch out GPK, you're in a pretty good position, and even then, GPK is already going for his own BKB. And global silence might not be enough at all to kind of stop that Storm from just controlling these fights now.
May not be. Well, Liquid definitely backs against the wall right now. Loader Plus sitting at 63% in favor of BBT. Bit of a group up mid lane here from the dire end of things. We'll see the gyrocopter. Rotation, Radiant Triangle, but also for the 24-minute power room, but no, it does spawn up down pop. The regen anyway, not too big of a deal. We'll take the Radiant Triangle instead. Liquid are the ones that need to buy some more time, it seems, as mid lane Boxy just trying to deal with this creep wave. Thinking about it, but we'll see Nightfall, so decides better of it. Very annoying against the Ench, because you can always send these enchanted creeps in to just push the wave very safely. Stupendous. Not much you can really do about it apart from deal with the creep. Pure just keep sending them in anyway.
Just dragging the waves away.
Still hanging around this Radiant Triangle. Zai is indeed working towards the BKB now. Problem is the tier 2 top tower is going to be under siege. BBT are not playing a slow game at all. You can just go for this, go for the Radiant Tormentor. And the pings are out from Liquid. They want to die a Tormentor instead. They realize they're going to lose their own.
Yeah, Falls relatively quick. Full Butterfly now up for Nightfall as well. So even if your Slark is on top, the mischance is going to be really annoying for Mikaden trying to rip apart the Chara in a 1v1. And don't even really find a Tormentor here.
Oh, Nisha. Nisha, he's a huge pickoff. BKB's been popped. Can he find a way out of this one? It doesn't feel like it. Nisha will drop. And BBT, they still have their Tormentor to take. They could go back for that if they really want. It just doesn't seem like they care for it.
No. Like, they're in such a commanding lead, 8-13, 8k up. No sign of reprieve just yet for Liquid. Like, they're still banking on just this good usage of Global Silence and Black Hole, and just scaling up with Nisha, but none of that's coming online anytime soon. Mika as well, forced to go into the Manta. Just wants an additional Dispel on Slark to prevent that control from coming in with the Orchid. See if it's going to be enough. BBT. So they do lose the Aegis, does expire. But, I mean, with all these items up in Nightfall, you're not scared at all. Even Pure. Like, I don't see any easy way of bursting down Pure here. Unless, again, you get a good Blink initiation from Boxy and some really great spell usage from Zai and Senya here.
Okay, he's a big target. If Liquid can find a way to just burst down the storm, it'd be huge. Keep in mind, he has his own BKB and a shield rune bottled up right now, so it may not be that easy. Big smoke up, Liquid, trying his 5. This could be the game-changing smoke if they get the initiation, but the toss is not onto Nightfall, and now Zig in from GPK right onto Zai, getting rid of the Enigma. Moxie still being chased by GPK. Moxie sticking around for a tossback again onto Mickey, but GPK still had the mana to zip away. Ingo, the kisses immediately cancelled on Nisha. He didn't pop the BKB in time. Mickey still trying another black hole. Immediately cancelled from Zai. Nisha, he's gonna drop. They're trying to do it Nightfall, but Nightfall just mans up through it. And Zai will die back immediately on the Enigma. Liquid are falling apart. They'll at least take down GPK, but there goes Mickey. The split Earth, or the Earth splitter rather, taking him down. Such a one-sided team fight from BBT. Liquid, they try their hardest with these tossback plays, but just not enough in the end.
Just way too much on BBT to play with. That Orchid cancel on the Black Hole, massive Boxy.
Avalanche toss combo, trying to burst down Nightfall, but nowhere near close enough. I mean, you've got to try, I suppose. That'll be your mid-range. No contest, it's just gone.
They can stall just a bit with a Fortify. Creep Wave still on its way, but should still be able to find it. Nisha being back up, not a massive threat. No kisses. They'll find a melee, save the range. So not the worst loss for Liquid, but again, 9-18 for BBT, 16k up. Until this BKB comes up in Zai, it's just never going to be comfy. You can't look for any big black bolts. He tried. If he managed to catch a storm, that could have been a play perhaps, but yeah, they're banking on this Wombo combo now for the side of Liquid. Or some really good picks. If Boxy, again, finds a good target to pin down, they can get some good chain control off. It's just difficult when you're this far behind, with all of these heroes being as tanky as they are. Doesn't feel like you have the easiest time in looking for that burst. And look at Nightfall, just going straight for the Satanic. Woody Ags up, the side gunner with Satanic pop. You're going to be hard-pressed to find that kill onto the Gyrocopter anytime soon. You've got so much scaling on BBT. Nope. Pure still going back for that good old Gleipnir. Even more control coming out. No one can really deal with that Enchantress in the backline as well. And there's no easy solutions. It's all about just taking a good team fight, looking for a pick-off if BBT do split up, but they haven't. And they've been very disciplined playing together as a team, understanding that they're really strong.
Box is going to sacrifice his life to try and creep skip. Or even take the Lotuses, like just trying to get as much value as he can. There's no real choice for Boxy. Oh, GPK's out of mana! Ouch! I think he was waiting for save with the Chakra Magic, but a save just not quick enough on the reaction speed, and props to Boxy for getting away.
Yeah. Snags himself a couple of Lotuses as well. Some utility in the middle, and Nikkei does have room to split push top, although...
Oh, look it out, he has the Manta this time to purge off the silence. Okay, should be okay to get out of this, no problem. Let's have the double pounce available with the Axe to boot, so... Much harder to catch this man. I think the MKB up next on the slot, so just trying to get through the evasion of Nightfall, of course, with that Butterfly. Be very, very necessary for Mickey, who hasn't had much of a game yet on the slot. He's 0-2-2. Can't blame him for that, John. He's playing Pulse 1. He needs his team to set up for a good fight. They just haven't had that yet.
Certainly not. There is some weird place you can do with a Slark and Enigma, though. You could try for the Depth Shroud Black Hole, I suppose. as long as you don't get stomped up. That will relieve a lot of pressure on Zai. While the BKB is still not there and is still 200 gold away. BBT looking for a smoke play out. They understand their early power spikes here. Are just looking for an opportunity. Roshan only 10 seconds away from the respawn here as well. They can look for one pick off into the high ground or Roche. Either one's fine. Let's see. Liquid for their part again doing the same things with Boxy, just creep cutting where they can, ensuring at least a lane is shoved out so some response will be forced out from the side of BBT. And just stall. It's the name of the game right now. Full BKB finally up for Zai. It's just a question of whether or not you can get those big black holes though.
At least now you've got no way of cancelling. That's the big positive. Unless the side gunner just takes him out in the middle of the black hole, like if he catches Nightfall, there's no other way really right now to deal with them. That and if Zai forgets to pop BKB. Apart from that though, he should be pretty safe. We'll see. Roshan is happy. EBT, they'll get away with this one without contesting it. I don't quite blame Liquid for. I don't even know if Liquid know this is happening. Even if they did, not the safest fight for them to take. BBT will grab it. Liquid, they're playing the long con right now. Like, they've got an Enigma, they've got a Slark, or even this Tiny will eventually transition to a Core. We've seen how strong level 25 Snapfire is. So they're just playing the long game. Speaking of that Snapfire, Nisha, he's gonna get caught. They do have the dust here. Nisha gonna force the BKB out, try and TP away, but do they have the damage with Pure? They do. The impetus doing too much. Nisha doing what he needs to do for his team, but it costs him his own life.
And that's a massive kill. Stalls out that level 20 that he's trying to soak up and pushing out these waves as well. Does have the silver red chop. So the level 20 is going to hit quite hard. Or a snap, if they manage to get the space going for that. But BBT just remove any opportunity for them to do so. A full hex up now for GPK.
Ouch.
Has the control necessary to hold down Mika quite safely, or even just preventing Zai from having a game. Does feel like you can sort of ignore the Slark for the most part. Without that full MKB, it's just not going to be a solution to Nightfall anytime soon, and just focus in on the win condition. If Zai just gets pinned down and killed before he can BKB, it's over.
Good. BBT rather. We'll move on to the high ground again. Tier 3 tower going to be under siege.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified.
Get away with this? I mean, Nightfall's just casually taking it. Get a bit of a reset with the Satanic. It's 25 seconds without the Satanic at least. Oxy jumps in, no toss back, and now the Rod of Atos going to lock him down, but he does get him. The Rax, however, it cannot move. The BBT really take that. Liquid just not seeing the opening that they really need to make the jump in here. We'll let BBT take it. Now 18k ahead is this dire side. BBT, I mean, they could go back to the mid-range racks if they really want, but I do believe they are probably just going to head bottom instead. No outer tower standing here for Liquid, so this next high ground attempt from BBT, you've got to fight. There's no choice in the matter. Zai, if you could make a big play, it could be game-changing again. Boxy gonna get a toss back onto the main target. They've got Nightfall. This is the one they really want. Can they deal with him twice though? Nightfall, he'll BKB up. He'll just walk right out of there. He's gonna be fine. That's the BKB down. Aegis still has 2.5 minutes. Nisha's gonna jump in. There's your black hole. Zai with the global stance, locking down 2 of them. They're gonna try and take down Pure. He's gone. They've got the first lap of the gyrocopter. DPK getting low, but will zip out. Nightfall, he's only got 1 life left. We'll try with the kisses. He's walking in. A toss back into the fountain. Not quite enough yet. Nightfall, can he man up through this? GPK, he'll zip forward. Nightfall, still pretty darn healthy. Is just not gonna die.
What a stomp.
Not yet. The stomp was out from Toronto, Tokyo to buy him the space. Toronto, he's just so damn good. Here we go again. Nightfall's not done yet. He'll keep going. The Rax is just not lasting too long. More stomps come out. They've got to rely on these tossback plays with Mickey and Boxy. Foxy's coming in again. We'll try another time, I think. Nightfall gonna get pounced here by Mickey, who does jump into the Shadow Dance. Trying to get some stats going. Nightfall still very healthy. In goes GPK. In goes Mickey. They're trying, but now the toss out on a GPK. He's out of mana, but they can't do it pure. The bounce back is just too much. Nisha is still trying, but they are just melting. GG is called. EBT. This game one, I'll tell you what, John, they make it look kind of easy.
Yeah, hey, they make it look real easy. Start to finish, they apply a lot of pressure onto that lane of Zai up top. This Enigma just never had a game. You know, having to go for Solar Crest Midas, the timing was really stalled out for the Enigma. It felt like the side of Liquid just were relying on those big team fights to come true. The lanes as well from BBT were just overwhelmingly strong. Like, you had to deal with an Enchantress lane for the Slark, not the easiest time. The Gyrocopter lane up against the Enigma is just naturally better for the Gyrocopter. The mid matchup was the one lane that you could really see Liquid shine in. Nisha had a pretty good time scaling up. He was trying to get some pressure out for his team. But again, at some point, just not enough. GPK works onto the Orchid as the backup of save for the constant top-ups, and that combination with Storm, the lower cooldowns and more mana, just so hard to play up against. Like, you see that black hole attempt from Zai. Great Orchid usage out from GPK, instantly cutting it off. Again, with the BKB, like, even Global Silence just wasn't enough. They lost way too much early on there for Liquid.
No, we saw it straight away as well. Like, just from the laning stage, just Zai was being targeted every single time they got a chance, and it really just shut down the gameplay of Liquid this game. You're seeing Nisha desperately trying to split push the top lane, trying to protect his team and buy a bit more space, but does get taken down by the impetus damage of Pure. And well, here's your last team fight. It's just the tossbacks, but this was the big stomp, I believe, coming in, landing onto 4 heroes. It's just Toronto Tokyo. He made so many saves this game as the Auto Titan. So much impact as his POS 5. Gotta give him mad props this game. I think BBT in general, just as a unit, has played significantly better. Just showing how great of a team they are, because Team Liquid, they are not a weak team, Jonathan. This is a very strong team. But BBT just that much better at the moment in this game one.
They show up. They draft for their lanes really well. They get the counter pick in the Gyrocopter, which, you know, it's not the best here right now, but it does work really well up against that Enigma lane. There's just no presence for Zai. He can't really just focus on denying creeps. They were trying to get aggressive with Malefice and Avalanche tossbacks, but the constant response out from the side of BBT, understanding that you really do have to just stop Zai early on. And it starts to get a little bit shaky for Liquid. Like, he does have to set tempo with Nisha for the most part, and just never came out here. Keen to see what adjustments are made, but BBT looked really dominant. Like, even from drafting, I think this was just an excellent way of thinking about the game, and I'm looking forward to how Game 2 goes.
Let's see how Game 2 goes, Jonathan. We are going to head off to a short break, and of course, right after that break, we're going to be back with Game 2 between Team Liquid and BBT. We'll see you soon.
مستمتع وتلاقي الوجبة جاية على الأصول يجيك العيش هش طالع من الأوفن والدجاج يقرمش just the way I love it وتسوي كذا وتسوي كذا مع الحشمة وانت بغراب خفيفة جيب تويستر أنا تجيب لي وجبة الزنجر بس كله يجيب اكسترا تشيز على الكرانشي تشيكن في السنتر حطلب باكت حطلب زنجر حطلب مايتي حطلب تويستر جيب له باكت جيب له زنجر جيب له الأصلي جيب له تويستر delicious yeah
right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are going into our game 2 here between BBT and, of course, Team Liquid. It is MLP Dota and Gen Fire once again. Jonathan, welcome back, sir. Game 1, quite a dominant affair, I'd say, for BBT. I think we can both agree on that. Team Liquid just not able to take off after such a disastrous laning stage for Zai. Game 2, what do you want to change up? I'm thinking it must be the offlane, right? Because it does seem like BBT have decided that they're going to just lock down Zai no matter what happens.
Yeah, it was just a rough affair for Zai. Going for the Solar Crest, pretty delayed timing, straight into a Midas, trying to go for the Blink, and the BKB. Every single one of those items were really stalled out. He had really not the best of times in his lane up top. There was an early kill attempt that looked like it should have worked out, but Toronto-Tokyo was just too on point with the saves. Eventually, this Gyrocopter matchup for an Enigma is just not very comfy for the Enigma. You can still play around with Maleficent and an Avalanche toss threat from Boxy, but it took a lot more finagling than it would for just the Gyrocopter to stand there, Black Cannon, clear out the wave, and keep farming. So I think they want to simplify that process. Yeah, finagling, you know,
Nice
just
word, John.
I know how to describe it. Yeah, finagling. You understand what that means, right? It's you finagle.
Is that an actual word, Jonathan? Can I add that to the vocabulary, or
Finagle. I have no idea. It apparently is. Obtain something by devious or dishonest means. Not necessarily devious is maybe a word.
devious is okay? Yeah, not. I mean,
devious is alright.
wasn't dishonest, Jonathan. Come on now.
Mm-mm.
Anyway, moving
Sly.
on. Sly indeed. Game 2 draft about to begin. I think we can both agree. Look, I wouldn't blame it on Zai, because again, all the attention was on him. That's kind of the thing. Like, that offlane was focused the whole game by BBT, and they did their job. They understood if we shut down this Enigma, they're not going to have any gameplay. They're not going to have the team fight they're looking for. And, of course, Zai, I like to say all the time when we're casting Zai, like, he's been one of the most consistent players in Dota 2 history, quite frankly. Just consistently great no matter what year it is. So they just understand it. Shut this guy down and win the game that way. And that's exactly what seemed to happen for BBT. Interested to see what Liquid do change up, though. As we are going to go into Game 2's draft. The IO immediately removed once again.
Yeah, just don't want to deal with it. Liquid is a prolific IO team. Don't want to have to deal with IO strats overall. I'm wondering if Liquid themselves start to respect bans something like the Elder Titan or the Keeper of Light in this game, as there was a lot of value coming out from BBT from running in both of those. And the stomps from Toronto-Tokyo were amazing. Save just connecting every single time with GPK. It's still forced to ban out the good old Brood Mother, just in case, as that hero has been pretty up there in priority. There goes the Timbersaw as well from BBT. Will Liquid ban out the Undying or a different support is the question.
Think about it. We might just go into the reserve time for this the second ban out. And I think BBT probably one of the stronger teams in the Riyadh Masters based off the results we've seen as of late. There's the Undying ban out here from Liquid. BBT, first pick, immediately into the Snapfire, no hesitation. Okay, well, why not? If it's not, if it's not broken, don't fix it. Well, in this case, it is broken, but you still don't need to fix it.
Yeah. You get first pick, you snag the Snapfire yourself. Most mid lane matchups for the Snap works out, so GPK should have a pretty decent time. If that is the early mid pickup, again, there's still some flex on hand here. You could have pure run up in the offlane, you could still have save, play it as a support. Works in pretty much every situation here. Liquid Storm agreement on the other side here. And we have seen that Storm matchup. It's not the smoothest of times, but, Nisha just play that lane. Should be able to know how to kind of deal with it, with the shortcomings of the Snapfire are. But again, overall, you have a natural advantage on the Snap. You can cookie every time the Storm comes in to Remnant. You can go for your... And again, the Storm has to go to melee range to static. And Liquid will just go back to the Silencer as well. So now you have a stable way of stopping the kisses at the very least in the back line. It's not going to be the smoothest of times to get your full damage output here on the Snap. Even a BKB doesn't really save you there, so reliance on the kisses for mid to late game, not going to be as easy for BBT, but early on, like pre-6 of Silencer, you still have a pretty good time here in lane.
You absolutely do. Second pick for BB.
Radiant team ban.
Legion Commander.
Straight into the LC. I was about to say maybe we see like a Rubik pop up or something like that, but the LC, I believe, should be the offlane hero for Pure. We've seen Pure play a lot of LC, and he tends to be that very manly kind of LC where we like to watch. We'll have that available to them. So 2 cores coming out straight off the bat for BBT. Could still be a Snapfire support flex if they really want to, but we'll have to wait and see for that. BBT immediately into the Monkey King banner, not wanting to mess around with the MK, which could indicate that we are looking at a core Snapfire, because MK is one of the better heroes at cancelling off kisses if you don't have the global silence.
Also lanes decently into an LC offlane. Can trade pretty fine with a Jingu build-up, so just ensuring that hero doesn't have to deal with lanes that are a little bit tougher for that Legion Commander. Liquid showing some respect for the combination with Skyrat Mage as well, not wanting to have to deal with that silence onto their Storm. The dual Mystic Flare can also be quite devastating, as we've seen multiple times before. BBT taking care of the Lycan, and starting to look at the offlanes now of Zai. There is still the option here for the Enigma, of course. Beastmaster something there for Zai as well. So a couple more. That can only really ban one of those 2 here for BBT.
Let's see, Team Liquid focusing on some support bans for now, getting rid of the Skyrath. The Skyrath, one of the better heroes to have against the Storm, so naturally a ban out. We'll even get rid of the Ench, which has proven to be extremely potent in this current meta. BBT back to the position 1s, get rid of the Terror Blade. Heroes that tends to do better against the LC, just that high base armor means you don't care so much about the LC. Liquid. One more ban to come. Makes me wonder as well, like, does Toronto Tokyo want to go back for something like the POS 5 Elder Titan? He did a fantastic job last game, right?
He did. I wouldn't mind it too much here. And it's stable control, it's stable laning for the side of BBT. You have a pretty good combination with the duel and the split earth. You can kind of get that done as well. If you wanted just an instant nuke from quite a long way, outside of just the kisses here, of course. And I don't see that being a top priority ban for Liquid, considering that there's still a lot of cores left in the pool. Surprisingly, the Darkseer is left in the pool as well. So that's another option for Zai to kind of pick up here. We'll see. Digging into that reserve quite deeply. They will take care of the Naga, just ensuring that no illusion spam comes out from BBT. Liquid, what'll it be? I mean, they don't have the back-to-back pick, so they can kind of take their time, pick up another support or a little bit of flex with support and off lane here. No real room for BBT to try to snag some of those off lanes of Zai away at this point. So you should be free to just save the Zai hero for the last in this pick phase.
Don't think about it. No, they won't. Team Liquid. Into the Tusk, which is one of the boxy specials. I must admit, if there's any player I love watching play Tusk, it is Boxy. This guy just makes me sick every time I see him.
Yeah, he makes the hero feel really busted. He knows the tempo he has to take. He plays really aggressive in lane with it. I'm wondering what combination they run with Boxy and Zai. I can see the Darkseer working out pretty well here. They do decide to go that route for Zai. Again, you can't really snag the Darkseer on BBT's end. I mean, if you did, you'd be looking at what? Snapfire support with Darkseer. An LC mid instead for GPK, which up against a Storm Spirit isn't ideal, so you wouldn't really want to try to flex here. Just have to assume Liquid will pick it up. You have room for probably just your back-to-back support picks if you are looking to run the core snap. You can kind of hold on to Nightfalls here for last. You don't have last overall pick on BBT, but they can keep their cards close to their chest here.
I'll have a think. 1 minute 20 seconds of reserve time left here against Team Liquid. Oh, there it is. The techies comes out. Okay. This is a hero that's kind of disappeared just a little bit, Jonathan. It hasn't been quite as popular after the recent nerfs, but still a pretty strong hero, I'd argue.
That it is. It's a little bit strange that techies faded away. Doesn't feel like it got touched up too bad outside of the... I suppose the base attack speed was kind of massive in lane, but beyond that, Techie still does what Techies want to. And considering lanes here, something like a Techie's LC lane's pretty alright. Techie's vertical onto a Tokyo up top is pretty fine as well. like a Techies into a Tusk and potentially the Darkseer, there's value for an early Taser, for sure, just to stop that chase down with, say, Tag Team here. So it's already a good solution for some early aggression that Liquid might want to bring out, and BBT will just tie it up with a Batrider. So, some flex, you are still likely to look at maybe something like the save Batrider here. Batrider LC lane can get really aggressive early on. Just flame break back into overwhelming odds. You can run down most heroes. No self-dispels so far on Liquid's end. So you are fairly free to do what you want. You can ban out the Slark in the next phase as well. Unless Liquid just decide to pick it up. But I don't see the Slark being a high priority. Slark into LC lane is just rough overall. Should just be our Zai hero. Again, if you wanted to pick your Darkseer here, this is probably the time to do it. We'll just kind of get washed out in bans next phase if you leave it for Liquid's end. So if they are looking for that boxy combo with Zai, it would be here. And Zai does love his Darkseer.
Opportunities available. 40 seconds left for Team Liquid to make this choice. Hard part is you don't know who the position 1 of BBT is yet. Makes it somewhat hard to go for heroes like the Darkseer. The combos are there. But again, going pretty far down to the reserve time. 20 seconds left. They'll go for the Drow Ranger.
Ooh.
I think very, very different flying out, but it is a hero that does combo well with the Tusk, and as well as that against the LC, you don't care for it so much. Very easy to kite out the LC during the laning stage and just harass the crap out of it.
That it is. I'd still say there's some play on BBT with some pretty good flame breaks if you can line that up here on save. You can still push that Drow out of position, but it is a lot more challenging for the side of BBT to look for that aggression. The Drow has been a hero that we terrorized for a while, but never got picked up in like Bali or Dream League 20. And it does come true. We've seen some Drow bans as well up against teams. So it's starting to pop back in. As you mentioned, pretty nice lane with Tusk if you will run the Tusk there instead and have Insania maybe walk up top with a Silencer. But you're never going to remove Boxy from that Tusk, so it should just be him. I don't mind that lane. Frost lane, thematically nice. Kind of saddening that fire element doesn't melt through the Ice Mine. You know, Batrider has a lot of fire.
That's true. Not the way this game works there, John. Sadly.
Fortunate.
Visage banned
It did
out,
work
so
like that for a bit, right? Remember with Cinder Brew? You had to have fire spells to ignite? Very specifically fire spells? That was a bit funny.
Yeah. And that made sense. You know, it was alcohol after all. You know, you need fire to light up the alcohol. Makes enough sense.
5 seconds remaining.
They removed it pretty quickly, though. BBT. We're going to remove another hero pretty quickly off this draft, this last pick of Team Liquid. So the Zai heroes again being fixed. The Visage removed. A lot of micro heroes have been removed. The Lycan also being out of here. I mean, you could still go for the Beast, but that hasn't been picked up very often, and it doesn't seem like the best Beastmaster game. They'll get rid of the Razor here, BBT.
Yeah. Just ensure that they have a pretty smooth time for Nightfall. Something like a Razor Tusk lane can be pretty scary. So maybe just offering up something like the Darkseer here for the side of Liquid to try and pick up. And Tusk Darkseer lane is pretty nice. It does take like level 3 to really get online. Level 2 Iron Shell. Maybe a value point in Surge or Vacuum if you can vacuum them into the shards. It can be nice with a tag team. Liquid banning out the PL and the Slark, so taking care of some Nightfall cores. Core matchup up against Drow can always be a little bit awkward. She can kite around really nicely. You don't have the best backline jump on BBT. I mean, you've got 2 Blink Initiators in the LC and Batrider. I suppose Blast Off is there as well, though a Gust can just kind of throw you away. It's not going to be the smoothest time. Wondering...
Well, what is going to be the safe lane here? What do you want for BBT? Against the Drow Ranger? What are we thinking, BBT? There we go. The Medusa comes out.
Alright.
Would you look at that, Jonathan? She's back.
She is back, and she has been heavily nerfed, but if you do scale up, Medusa can still be a challenging target to pin down. You don't have the best ways of burning true mana here for the side of Liquid. At the very least, I mean, maybe an argument to be made for Diffusal Drow, but not necessarily something you'd want to see, eh?
The Darkseer you pointed out may not be a bad idea now, like against the Medusa. That wall can be very, very annoying with the Medusa later on. They've only got 9 seconds to think about it. Liquid, they're going to go down the Tide route instead. So they're just going to go for the fight. Stable laning with the Tide Hunter, probably just not going to die to the Bat Rider Medusa lane anyway, but it's still going to be pretty annoying. Alright, so there's your 2 drafts. 2 very different drafts coming out from both sides, John, but did you have a preferred draft going into this game too?
It's hard to say. I feel like both drafts have merit. I think Liquid does have some really good early aggression. But you have some pretty unique lanes from BBT, like Batrider 5 with Dusa. It can get aggressive onto something like Tide. You've got good range to stand back. You can kind of play around with Flame Break. You don't really care too much about the Kraken Shell. You don't tend to level up Kraken Shell early on anyway. So you can still get your aggression going there. You've got the Techies LC lane to play with as well, which is decent enough. Although, again, a value point in Gust can kind of throw off your initiation here with save. So there's a lot of back and forth. I think the tempo is a little bit better for Liquid. I can see them starting to group up a little bit better, taking these fights. You don't have top-ups for Nisha here, so like a self-sustaining Storm is not going to be as feasible in comparison to what we had from BBT in the last game. But the scaling for BBT is a little bit slower. You know, you're looking for some early activity from Pure this time around. He's not going to be able to just sit back and farm as he did as an Inch game, but if he does hit a good Blade Mail blink timing, as long as you jump the Drow or the Storm, you're pretty happy here.
We'll see how it pans out. I mean, Game 2 is about to get underway. Of course, Liquid trying to force a draw against BBT, and BBT looking for another 2-0 victory in the group stages if they can secure. We'll find out, because Game 2 has now officially started, so we can switch over to that and see exactly how things are going to go between these two teams. Liquid, obviously, starting today, they probably didn't want to get another draw going their way, but this is the best outcome they could ask for now. Good luck, have funs are coming out between these two as well. So, is Liquid still in high spirits? Sure, looking for some revenge here in Game 2.
Draw would be pretty big for them. Just kind of stay in the running in that top 4. Well, depending on other results, of course. But Bet Boom, if they find a 2-0 here, that really skyrockets their chance of staying in. Staying undefeated would be massive, of course. Even though it's early on in the groups, like a 3-0 here almost guarantees you top 4, I believe. At the least, you're guaranteed to qualify through, even for the most part. So we shall see. The team's hungry, of course.
Vision's gonna find Pure. He's by the tier 1 tower. So is everyone else, to be absolutely fair. In fact, Bet Boom seem like they want to go. The Vision from Liquid, though, is going to give a huge advantage. So we'll see 2 heroes at least. Nisha's got his hand up trying to bait them forward. They aren't going to take that bait yet. Nisha, acting like he can't see anything, is going to get jumped now, but has he gone too far? Liquid! Liquid were asleep! No one was ready! There was like a solid second that Nisha was just dying and nobody moved. Here we go. He could be in danger. Boxy with a great shards out, at least going to lock a couple of them in. Is still man fighting. Will eventually go down and Boxy will accept his death. A 2-for-1 trade in the favor of BBT. And Nisha had full vision over that high ground, like he knew they were there. I'm pretty sure that was meant to be a bait. But Liquid just not finding the upper hand.
They take their time. BBT, they managed to plant themselves right behind the ward. I don't think I thought GPK showed them vision for a moment walking back and forth, but they managed to hide that information away from Liquid. End up on top. Mid lane matchup is again not the best for Nisha. And GPK played through this last time. Nisha should understand how strong a snap bar is in this lane, but not going to be smooth going. She's going to have to try to work overtime to hit those timings, but can be rough. I think you have to just accept that mid's just going to be a challenge no matter what. Still taking a look up top here. We've got Pure and Save on that LC and Techies up against Mikke and Boxy on that Tusk and Drow that you called out in draft. A really potent lane once you hit level 2, level 3. Tag team plus the Frost Arrows plus the multi-shot can make it pretty tough. You stand far back enough, you don't care for the overwhelming odds here.
Shards out on Save. Save going to be just fine. You do really want that tag team, and the Snowball going to be very effective as well, of course, in initiating here for Boxy. Now Mikke is just going to be very cautious not to get caught with his pants down, because you're almost at level 2 for Save. Basically one creep away, and once the blast off is up, things can get very, very dangerous. The save now hits it, looking for the angle, not going to dive in. AK too close to the tier 1 tower, and Pure not close enough to get the overwhelming odds off. But they are looking for Mickey.
Yeah, we've got decent backline jump. Does have the value point in Gust for Mika, so the blast off is not a guaranteed kill. We'll see if they do decide to commit too hard here inside of
He's very far forward now. Blast off is not committed yet. Pure still waiting. A double, but no, the Gust. Mickey still alive. Save is on the chase, trying his absolute best for the armor from the tier 1. It's going to be enough to keep him alive. They'll get Boxy instead. And that's not really something you're expecting the level 2 Gust to be leveled up by Mickey, but it does at least save his own life.
He understands what he has to do. Just mitigate some of that aggression coming out here from the side of BBT. Still a nice pickup for BBT to find. And managing to clean up, the Tusk having to sacrifice to enable that. But level 2 up for Boxy now. With tag team up, there's some counterplay potentially coming out from Liquid, but they'll have to try to stabilize their lanes. Gives us a chance to look at the other lanes just a tad bit. Zai on the Tide along with Insania on that Silencer up against Nightfall and Toronto Tokyo on the Dusa and Batrider. And this is not a lane that you can underestimate too much here from the side of BBT. Like Medusa can stand far back enough, play with a Mystic Snake. Not going to be threatened too much by Zai. You've always got the Batrider who can shove you away as well with Flame Break. And there is a Silencer here, but Arcane Curse up against a Batrider who doesn't have Sticky and Napalm doesn't feel as scary, and you can't really maximize, say, the gush here from Zai, so you're not looking for too much aggression. Just try to impact Nightfall's farm and get Zai going on a stronger start than he did in game 1.
I mean, he's getting very, very low, just healing up through the inherent lifesteal he does have with the Moment of Courage, barely making it out. Liquid not able to finish off the kill that seemed like it was just guaranteed against Pure. That's the Pure LC for you. Like, he understands he can keep fighting and just hoping for the Moment of Courage procs, and he did still have a Lotus in hand. Mickey again being targeted, save, maybe going a bit too fast, still has the blast off, but Mickey still has the Gust, so save, now in danger. Boxy will go for the chase. Pure is going to try and go after the Drow, but can't really reach, so he'll go back after Boxy, turning back around, misses the overwhelming odds of the Drow, so now Pure is completely being kited out. Boxy doing a fantastic job of not dying through all of this. Can you get the kill? He's got no mana for the shards, but he's got the tag team. He'll have Snowball on a couple, but Pure secures the kill onto the Tusk. With the longest hit I've ever seen on an LC. Toronto Tokyo, in the meantime, will die down a bottom lane to Insania.
Finding a lot of back and forth. Nice plays out from Liquid to finally secure something up top, although, again, you are still feeding Pure. Quite a few hits here. Bot lane for Nightfall going quite nicely. And losing Toronto Tokyo is big, but he gets his mana back. He has a Lotus to play with on that Medusa. And it's still farming up a Storm. All things considered, again, a much stronger start for Zai, which is what you want to see. You're not going to be able to stop that Medusa too badly here. At the very least, there's not enough space to really clear out and try to stack up here.
They try and Pure again. Save was there with the blast off onto Mickey to ensure the follow-up damage was not going to come out. Is now Boxy in danger. Pure able to get the kill. Mickey unable to finish the kill onto Save. Mickey needs to run. Pure still chasing. Not getting too lucky with the Moment of Courage procs. But it will be okay to survive and does keep Save alive. That's massive.
This LC is just being given everything it wants. Like, Pure's going to hit level 6 at a good point. You can start to threaten the duel.
Mid lane kisses Nisha, really copping it. GPK. He hits the level 6 mark way before Nisha. Now almost level 7. Finding a solo pick off from the Storm will help you do that.
That's something you just have to expect. Again, the mid lane matchup. They picked the Storm into the snap. They knew this would happen. They had to have something in mind, but Rune Control, 6-minute mark, can they deny anything?
Okay, right on the mark! Oh, Nisha! Nisha's making the walk of shame by the looks of it. What a play from BBT. Toronto, he will drop for this, but who the hell cares? That's a long walk back for the Storm. He is still just level 5. GPK now level 7.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit scary with how much GPK is taken out. And you have some solution for the kisses down the line, but you don't want to underestimate even the right-click harass of GPK with the double crown and bracer up.
Pure.
That of Toronto Taco isn't the worst.
Toronto's there, by the way. Speaking of the devil, ensuring he's there to help out the LCs. Mickey is being just dived by Pure and Toronto, and even saved now with the blast off, landing on both. This BBT, this team, they're so damn good with the way they move across the map. They really are.
Their aggression's just so on point. They know when they're strong, they know when to play. They've got level 6 up now in Pure, so the dual wins can start to flow in. And for the side of Liquid, it's got to be a more passive game. You can't really connect with Nisha just yet, even if he does hit level 6. He doesn't have anything like his Falcon Blade or Witchblade lined up anytime soon. No natural top-up for him. Zai, he's going to have Ravage. At the very least, he's going to have his Meteor Hammer to kind of threaten, but how do you even contest Nightfall at this point unless you drag all your heroes in? Not going to be an easy thing to get done. Nightfall leaves a tier 1 token for some reason, as Action is lining up for top.
Just one Mickey again. They love hunting down this Drown. She's so susceptible. Now with the duel up, Pure, he can actually get some duel damage going. A nice snowball from Boxy, going to delay things just a little bit, but not long enough, as now Boxy might just be the secondary pick-off again for BBT. They will land the sticky bomb. Pure picked up a double kill. Zip in from Nisha, trying to salvage the situation. Pure, though, he's very, very tanky, moving in again. Has the press the attack, but will not get any procs at the moment of courage. Will finally go down, but now Nisha out of mana. Nisha doesn't want to die like this. Will at least zip to avoid the sticky bomb damage, but in come the kisses. Just, no matter what angle you're looking at, there's stuff flying in. Insane here. Not out of danger yet either. But they won't bother diving for the silencer. It's just a position 5. Or will they? They thought about it. Save? Will die at least. Nice pickup from Insania's end of things.
I don't know if you'd actually enjoy having all these kills on Insania. Out of the 6 kills, he's found 4 of them. Granted, you'll take what you can get. Zai?
Yeah, they've got Jewel. They've got Jewel, and I believe they should have enough damage, and they will. Pure 7-2-4 against the Drow Tusk lane. Yeah, that's a very hard lane for an LC to win in.
That it is. But they just played their cards right in BBT. They outplay Liquid basically up top. And you know, they already forced Mika into getting that early gust. Still not enough on a save. And Pure just playing on the edge, paying off every single time. 13-6 start. Liquid, the one thing they are getting is a little bit of a better start for Zai, but it's coming at the cost of Mika and Nisha also having pretty hard starts now. With this kind of lineup, you can fall back and try to farm up in your Drow, but you're going to lose a lot of map space. Just a constant pressure coming in now with level 6 up on save. Your objectives fall fast. They're grouping up to look for something here, but they had forward vision on BBT. Good ward right by the outpost, not being dewarded. This area by the crystals, no one ever checks. Gives so much for the enemy team.
Liquid currently 4k behind. They don't really have much gameplay at the moment.
Regeneration.
Just gonna sit back trying to get that XP and farm going. Toronto Tokyo gonna scout just a little bit in the mid lane, ensuring GPK can pick up the invis. Be fine to do so. Okay, sitting at almost level 10 now on the Snapfire, just having a fantastic game. Sword of Atos completely up, so you land that on Tanisha, he could be in huge trouble. Bit of a chase on Pure. Pure gonna back off at the right moment. We'll be just fine. Got that vision in the dire jungle to work with, so he knew they were coming.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
EBT, just, there's no pressure, right? Like, you've got a Medusa. Yeah, she got nerfed in the previous patch. It's still Medusa. If she gets complete free farm like this, it's gonna be very hard to deal with her. And that she is. Nightfall has got no contest right now.
You can't stop with the tide alone. You're not rotating anyone to punish.
Foxy. Gonna find out the hard way. There's Rod of Atos up.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Snowball is gonna delay a little bit. We'll wait it out. Toronto still trying. Nisha gonna zip forward. Foxy will eventually actually walking away. Toronto's the one to go down. Liquid protecting. That Tusk is now the jewel out. Pure. No hesitation.
Don't be afraid.
No hesitation against Nisha. Just commits the jewel, seeing the storm zipping in. That's probably the one target you can't zip into right now. Pure is huge.
A little bit greedy coming out. Heck, on BBT, Toronto Tokyo moves Boxy away from the mine with a snowball, so they don't secure that hill. At the same time, Nisha he doesn't have mana to sustain long zips like that. Goes forward right into the LC. 30 dual kill wins now for Pure. 30 bonus damage for him. And a 5k lead, it's just way too much. Like, Nisha is just not having game right now. As the power treads up, just working into the Kai and the Witchblade. They are getting a lot of room out for Zai. We have not seen this Tide Hunter at all commit the Ravage, so he's just working into the Blink, looking for that big team fight. But it's almost reminiscent of Game 1 here, Mike, where, you know, Liquid play a slower game, they default back to farm, they try to look for these big wombo combos, and it's so difficult to try to hope for those big openings when you're this far behind and you're up against a team like BBT. They're not the kind of team to give you those big team fight openings you'd want.
They are not. 6k advantage. Liquid mid lane, maybe have a bit of an attempt here. Zai needs some help. He's got the Ravage, but the Jewel's going to come out, and he is just gone. 40 Jewel damage now for Pure. This is before his level 10 mark, by the way, as Mickey is completely surrounded. Save. Throwing the old triangle with the mines. Techie's one of those heroes that can just solo you if he really wants with a nice blast off initiation. This time he had Nightfall, but next time he may just not need Nightfall with the way this game's going. It's mid lane. Tier 1 tower does drop. They are looking at Insania, who is thinking about pushing out the creep wave, but they are casually waiting for him to show. And there you go. Run of 8 toss out from GPK. Just the aggression never stops with this team. BBT are just never done.
Alright, it's just such insane space to give for Nightfall. All the attention has to go towards where the engagements are, but no one's punishing Dusa when its laning's been nerfed. You know, it was left completely alone. Liquid keep trying to try to counter fight with this movement out, but felt like they had so many openings to just punish Nightfall here.
Look at top lane. Nisha and Boxy, they're gonna try and sneak around for the 14-minute Wisdom Rune. Something they desperately need right now. You need that XP bonus, I think. They'll get away with this. Thing is, BBT, they're taking the bottom lane Wisdom Rune as well, so it's going to be a 1-for-1 in the end. Pure, they might run right into the LC. Like they will. Smoke is broken. They're going to try for this kill. Keep in mind the Tier 1 tower is still standing, and Pure, he's been silenced, but he's manning up again.
Oh my god.
Oh
Blade mail.
My god, he's killed Nisha. Oh, Boxy can't do it. I mean, there's Giga Chads. This guy, left with no choice, he just turns. Come at me. On the tide, Zai joins in. Zai wants part of the fun, but it's not very fun for Liquid. He needs to TP out. Pure, he's gonna go for that jewel. Into the kisses. Bye-bye. I don't know, man. I play these LC heroes all the time, John, but this guy, he just makes it look easy. He really does.
You're insane. Just the blade mail giving that kill. That is just an awful feeling for Nisha. Like they snipe the Wisdom Rune. They feel like, alright, it's 2-on-1. Surely we can get the LC. It's just not enough. You're so far behind on the storm. And Pure, the maniac, just stands forward. Nisha just respawned. Has to be careful being this far forward here. They've got the blink.
Yeah, they do. Blink is out. They've got the storm. Nisha is down.
Oh my god. Jeez,
I don't think Liquid are playing this incorrectly. I just think BBT is that good of a team right now. They are just that strong.
For sure. BBT's just... It's maddening. This aggression. The fact that Liquid are forced to respond every single time. They never contest the Dusa. And they give some space out for Zai to farm up, but what impact do you really expect when you're tied early on up against this ultra-farmed LC, ultra-farmed Dusa for this point in the game? Like, Nightfall's just going straight for the butterfly. You don't have a way of counteracting that with your physical hits. Even though the stat padding isn't the biggest on the Dusa right now. And once that full butterfly's up, Nightfall's just going to join in. And you don't have the solutions. You don't have enough magic damage to deal with it.
You need Nightfall? Oh, let's be honest,
No.
it doesn't feel like Nightfall's necessary.
Exactly, but once he joins in, then it's really all over at that.
Yeah.
This Deuce is just uncontested, man.
I'll tell you what, yesterday as well, BBT against Tundra, I think, was on the mainstream, which was on the main stage. And couldn't help but notice Nightfall after a win still looked pretty upset with his team about something. I imagine this game around, if Nightfall opens his mouth at all after the game, his team will probably just slap him. Pure will just walk up and be like, no, I'm the carry now. You keep your mouth shut.
Yeah. I mean, his impact's there. He was in 3 kills, I suppose, out of 21.
That's very funny.
Decent
John.
activity from the Dusa. That's some high activity for Dusa.
More like a gifts towards the Deucer, I think, John. It's, he was at right place, right time. Anyway, BBT, 12k ahead now, looking down towards the bot lane, hoping someone's going to come to farm. He was just waiting in the tree line with GPK in Toronto, Tokyo, definitely hoping for a quarter show up. Mickey is not around the area, but they are patiently waiting. GPK, though, eventually just going to reveal himself. He's out the creep wave, notice nobody's there. 4-man smoke up, right through the Dire triangle, onto the other side of the map where they'll go to the Dire jungle. Keep in mind, Zai just bought his blink out. It is on the courier, so they have the blink ravage.
No, Mortimer, it's not
Thing is, they are quite split. Zai may get caught by Toronto if he's not too careful. The Zai does at least have an observer ward, but the smoke is still there. They'll see him in the mid lane now. Zai, is he gonna get jumped? No, they found the drow instead. Mickey, a quick gust is gonna save his life. The chase is on. Pure wants the blink, does miss out. Mickey still kiting very nicely. Zai, he's got the opportunity. He'll throw the Ravage. It lands on 4 targets. Pure is down. This is the fight Liquid needed. But they've lost Nisha. Save, what a blast off out on a Boxy and Mickey. They're in huge trouble. The Tusk. Oh, the sticky bomb. It lands on Mickey. It hands the vision over. GPK, he'll move in, misses the scatter blast. Mickey still kiting out. Run of Atos though, gonna lock him down. Surely he dies. And he's finally gone. The snowball forward. On a GPK. He's in danger. But with the Glimmer Cape, he'll survive as Boxy goes down. Zai's still chasing, but just can't do it. He'll just run in circles. Just spin, Zai. Just spin.
Jeez Louise. They
got Pure.
finally...
That's
Yeah,
good
they
news.
got some good punishment. That is a decent streak to find. But, as mentioned, by the time Nightfall joins in, that's him without the full butterfly as well. He joins in, just don't have enough to deal with him. They have to pop the Ravage to stop the duel. They have to pop the Global Sounds very early on as well. So they're not able to connect in that big wombo combo you'd want here for the side of Team Liquid. And yes, they find 1 kill, it's just at a massive cost. You still lose out on Mika and Nisha anyway, I know.
Oh, Pure. Mid lane. Can they save with the snowball? They can. Insania's gonna survive. Pure maybe getting a bit too cocky. Does go down. Alright, Pure, let's calm down, sir. Let's calm down.
Yeah. Okay, that's a little bit more painful. That's a good pickup for the side of Liquid. At least for BBT, they don't bleed away any duel wins.
Nisha.
You'd have that own.
You've got the blink on the Batrider, but no jump in. Nisha's okay. Keep in mind, he does have the Kaya Sanj, so at least has 20% status resist right now on the Storm. Should help him survive just a little bit. Zaya's gonna move in on the Tide. No Ravage available. He'll have to find his own way out of this one. Stuff gonna land from save. He's got the mines down as well. Zai really just has no play. He's gonna ask for the global silence, but it's too late. He's down. They'll try to trade the Batrider at least, but a great cookie in from GPK. And now the lasso right onto Nisha. And Toronto is still walking out. He might die to the curse, but who the hell cares? In fact, he's gonna live. He's gonna live on like 15 HP.
No. That is disgusting.
It
BBT. Like, Global Sounds again. Just not enough, and that's a big team fight lost once more. Insania. This is sitting up.
Hands up from GPK. Wave him goodbye. Last off, not on the mark. Insania asking for help. It's gonna come in from Mickey with the gust out. Can they at least kill the techies?
What?
Just kill the techies. Oh,
No detection.
he just walks out with the Glimmer Cape.
Oh my god.
In their base. He found the exact right spot, like just between the 2 T3 towers.
This is disgusting. BBT. Playing such clean Dota. I mean, clean. I say clean, they're diving pretty far. They've
It's
been
clean.
punished for some of these dives, but overall, beyond that, it's been very straightforward. And for Liquid, I don't know if I can confidently say there's scaling. There is some scaling here, to be fair. Something like an Ags up on Nisha down the line to open up these fights. A coordinated use of Ravage and Global Sounds in an offensive capacity, not a defensive capacity. can still lead to some openings here for Liquid, but I'm not seeing the opportunities. With how BBT is playing, there's just no big team fights that you can find on your own terms here for Liquid.
Top lane Zai. Or excuse me, bottom lane, I should say Zai.
Dire's bottom tower.
She pinged out by GPK. He's still moving in. Zai actually trying to meteor hammer the Tormentor, I believe. Or maybe just take the Watcher, excuse me. Zai, just gonna die. It was the Watcher, by the way, that he was taking. But he's gonna drop. Tormentor will eventually get taken.
And so will the tier 2. Zai tried to meteor hammer the cliff. I don't know if he was scouting for wards.
No, I think it was the
Trying
Watcher.
to do something. No, a while ago he was
Pure. Oh, this is a big kill. So he is going for the duel attempt. Pure.
what?
He's gonna die, but he almost got it. Insania will drop. Boxy will get lassoed. Had Pure won that, like this guy, he just doesn't care.
Invisibility.
He gave some 28 dual damage to Nisha now.
Nice little boon for Liquid. Still comes at pretty big sacrifices to support kill. It's not the biggest deal in the world anymore. Tip comes out from save onto Pure. A little bit crazy.
He hits the moment of courage proc once or twice. He's just full HP again. That's kind of the thing with this LC. That's what he was hoping for. Nisha gonna get caught by the Rod of Atos. Oh, Zai, he tried. He tried with the Ravage. Maybe they could at least find Nightfall and make it all the worth it. If they could get this kill on the Medusa, Nightfall, he's out of mana. He should go down and they've got him. Alright, suddenly things are turning. Team Liquid, they found a big one.
That's one that is going to hurt the side of BBT. Gonna have to be a little bit cautious again about going pretty far forward. Not the rest of the team here. And start to play a little bit cleaner once more, but you are still 22k behind on the side of Liquid. That kill does help Mika start to accelerate here on the Drow. Has the full Ags up, so Hyperthermia is in play with Frost Arrows. And that can be quite impactful to cut off the tankiness of something like the LC here. Although,
Pull out. They've got Zai with that. He may not have enough damage on his own, but he is setting up. And with the kisses, they will get the kill. So no dual damage. Won't matter too much. They still got the kill with the kisses out from GPK. In Liquid, though, even though they lost their tide, they'll accept the fact that they have some time. You know, Mickey's just... He's doing all he can to get that farm going. And as we saw, like, you catch the Medusa on her own. She is not invincible by any stretch.
quite. Man pool isn't the highest. Again, not going for too much stat padding here on Nightfall, instead opting for more damage, especially with that big Silver Edge pickup right after the Butterfly. Still Roche is open here for the side of BPT. No forward vision from Liquid. They've got the output. Shouldn't take too long to clear out Roshan. With the secondary life ready to go on someone like Nightfall here, they can start pressure onto the high ground. There is still one outer tower left for Liquid. I don't think the side of BPT will mind too much. You can just start to force this fight out. As long as they're not playing too fragmented inside of BPT, it shouldn't be too hard to still play that same style they have been running. Still a long ways off and finding some saves here on the side of Liquid. Like Nisha, still working onto his Lincolns. Nothing defensive coming out from Mika, so if you do jump the Drow, it's going to be a pretty dire straits here. You do at least have the Blink on Boxy. You can always try for the Blink Snowball saves on hand. But that's all the resources you have. Have to be, again, very coordinated on Liquid with these Ravages and Global Silences in these fights. If BBT managed to force one spell out defensively, they can just take the fight. If it doesn't land the way you'd want to here on Liquid.
Have a nice item here. The shards on the LC is always going to feel nice against a hero like Drow Ranger. Like that's that plus 5 armor against the Drow is going to feel very effective if you can earn it on a few heroes. Okay. Having a decent game himself. 3-4-4 at the moment. Just so much pressure on his shoulders. Try and help his team win out this next team fight. When it is Drow Ranger though, you are quite susceptible to just getting caught. He's got no defensive items either. BBT, they're going to move in through the mid lane. They have seen Nisha, I believe. They'd love the jump on the Storm. Toronto is going to see him. Lasso is there. He picked up the haste in time. Global Silence, but no, the Jewel is out. A nice snowball save, Boxy. He's going to buy a bit of time for Nisha to try and get his way out of there. Great save from Boxy. He is still down for 40. And they do still commit the Global. But they needed to keep that storm alive. Problem is Zai, expecting them to go through the mid lane, did go for the creep skip, but he's gonna get caught. Like, even Insania was trying to help out.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Limit Cape will only buy him so much time. The chase will continue. And Insania is gone. Oh, even Nisha's still around the corner if they could see him, but they don't have the vision.
Playing pretty far forward, playing under his ward. Don't think he can really snipe anyone here, solo. Gonna be a little bit risky, just looking for some farm. Free for nothing coming out here for BBT. Liquid, again, doing a good job of stalling. This fight's so far away from the push. They're not able to really commit onto the high ground on BBT. So that is stalling for time quite successfully on Liquid, despite the losses. They are giving themselves some room to breed. They're cutting creep waves with Nisha. Pure?
You are just waiting, Nisha. Gonna get caught by Pure. Immediately. Not enough damage to get the dual damage off, but it won't matter. The lasso in time from Toronto Tokyo. Locking down the mid-storm again. He's down for 45. What do you do about it? This LC's just been all over the place. Same situation as last game as well, right? Like, you're just buying time for your side. The people will look at Nisha dying there and just laugh because they think he's out of position, but he does have to skip the creep wave. There's no two ways about it. You've just got to keep buying time as Liquid.
Yep. Keep stalling. Keep hoping that and start to set up for a high ground fight with some itemization coming through. They will lose their wisdom runes once more. Map control in BBT's favor. Finding boat. A big one for GPK to pick up for himself, as he is just waiting for that level 20 now. And he's got the Daedalus already almost finished up with the Demon Edge only lacking.
is under attack.
Once you've got the 20 for GPK, boy oh boy, you're going to have even more issues here.
Oh, Nisha? Zip forward. He's going to zip TP.
Radiant
He's fine.
structures are fortified.
Can only really do that once, though.
Structures are fortified.
Here comes the defense. Toronto's got the lasso back up, ready to jump in whenever. Would love Insania to start if he could. Get rid of that global silence. There's no buybacks on Team Liquid. One buyback, in fact, is on the map right now, and that is Pure. Kisses to fly out, just zoning them out, but Nightfall's got no creeps. The backdoor protection's going to make it so these kisses are currently just wasted. Problem is, can they actually deal with Nightfall anyway? Zai gets jumped. Snowball will buy a bit of time. Back in on the creep wave. Oxy again saving the day for Zai. The Rack's still under siege though. Getting through the rather the mana pool of Nightfall, but he's got the Aegis up. He's got the BKB ready to go whenever. BBT, they're going to smoke right behind Nightfall, waiting for that big initiation. I think Toronto knows where Mika is, and he gets the lasso. Global Silence was there. Pure jumps in immediately onto the Drow Ranger, gets the duel off, but Boxy, he's going to buy the time with the snowball. It may be enough, but no, Mika's gone. Boxy's gone a bird. Zion will drop as a third. They'll buy back on Boxy, trying to help out. GPK getting low, but not low enough. Boxy might just be dying back immediately. He will snowball back towards Nightfall. Gets a blink away. Will survive. Now Nisha trying to just buy himself a bit of time. We'll get back towards the fountain. On Rax. He's already gone by Bepboom anyway. They've only got a range Rax left. On a Pure they go. They'll try to chip away at the LC.
Dire's bottom barracks
He's
is under
fine.
attack. Dire's bottom barracks
Moxie.
is fortified.
Not going to make a jump in. Nisha. He's got to be careful not to zip too forward. There's 4 mines just sitting there waiting for him.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
I'm going to try to hold on.
Dire's middle
No Ravage, no Global Silence, though, makes this a really tough fight for the side of Liquid.
I was hoping the
BBT
duel.
are still free.
Toronto, nice lasso. Looking for the dieback on Box. He gets it immediately. Is Nisha going to try and zip forward? Pure won't get the duel this time around. But with Boxy down for 60, you haven't got the saves now in this duel. Make matters worse, you've got a Daedalus completed on GPK with a double damage room bottled. And the level 20 talent. So he's going to be hitting very hard this next play.
That he is. Blessed by Gaben himself. Just needs to travel back up onto top. 2 racks is down for the side of Liquid. This is some time for them to get at least the GS back up and running. Perhaps even a Ravage. Their defensive high ground fight can be quite nice, but again, just this trigger discipline out from BBT. You know, just putting Nightfall up front, not showing anyone else, waiting for these nice opportunities to go in for the Blink and Lasso. Making it so tough for Liquid to play this defensive fight for themselves on the high ground here.
Toronto looking for that lasso attempt again. I think they saw Zai, but they weren't confident to move in onto the tide. The only buyback right now is Insania. He's the only one with it available. Everyone else doesn't have the gold for it. Apart from Boxy, who's on a timer right now. Liquid. 1 Rax left. They are going to try their best. GPK, though, he's activated the double damage. In goes Nisha, trying to chip away at the mana pool of Nightfall. Gets him down a half mana. BKB forced by Nightfall. He just wants the Megas. And he'll take the Megas. Nightfall, though, going to get punched up. Boxy trying to jump in. Nightfall completely out of mana. Boxy, though, going pretty deep by himself. They've got the Ravage of Zai, but he's got no Blink available. It's still on cooldown. Still, they'll try and chase down Nightfall. They better control him up. In goes the Ravage from Zai, trying his best to save Nisha. Nightfall still walking away. Surely can't get out of this. Zai desperately chasing, finally takes him down. But they've got everyone else, and GG's call. BBT. Just looking incredible here up against Liquid, securing a 2-0 victory. And Liquid, I mean, this is not a team to scoff at, but my god, BBT just had their number today.
That they did. The side of BBT made it look pretty easy, actually, up against Liquid. And starting off with the Snapfire, Nisha going to the Storm for that matchup. Considering what happened in Game 1 for GPK, it was a really rather slower game. I don't think the Storm could have ever bounced back there without the Kotl in that combination for BBT. And you didn't have any top-up for Nisha here. You had to stand back, play the farming game, pure, just a complete madman in the LC here. And this 2-0 victory, Mike, for BBT, it pretty much guarantees them to be first place at this point. It's very early on, there's still some really weird results that can happen, but I think just in the first 2 days of groups, having a 3-0 scoreline, 4-0 in terms of 6-0 in terms of games, it's looking great for them to have this ride into the playoffs here.
No, I agree with you. I think they've beat the harder teams in their group. Like, you had Tundra getting 2-0'd, and now you had Liquid getting 2-0'd. And, well, the rest of the teams they've got left are Talon, Aster, and I believe TSM, and later on Secret. So it's still hard teams to beat, but I'd say Liquid was probably the best out of all of those. And well, BBT, again, just having a very clean game, as we can see in these team fights. Just very well coordinated, this side is. I kind of made the joke that you didn't really need Nightfall this game, John, and I still kind of stand by that. It felt like the Medusa just was unnecessary in this game. GPK and Pure were just doing so much work. You see Mike with a very nice juke, but ultimately just not proving to be enough. Now, I'll be frank, I don't know what Liquid could have changed in these games to change the result.
And it's hard to say. Maybe, I don't know, I don't think this was down to Zai. Again, I think he did what he could on the hero. He was targeted once more, but I feel like the heroes he had also didn't have the best impact. Like, again, maybe something like the Darkseer Tusk lane would have ended up a little bit better, more pressure onto the Dusa early on. You could eventually get Dusa illusions, you can get some team fights going with Vac Wall. Maybe expect some follow through. Heck, you could start to bank on something like an Ags down the line for Nisha, but the laning starts were just really where it all boils down to. I don't think it was down to really anything individually that Liquid did. It's just that bbteam emphasized their lanes so hard. And they play on the bleeding edge. Like, they really push the limits as to what you can get away with in your lane in terms of the aggression, in terms of the trades. I mean, you just saw Pure, right? In that one fight right by the Lotus Pool, pops Blade Mail, gets the kill on Nisha, and still lives through.
Yeah,
like, who else could... How many players can actually just stand there, be confident that their Blade Mail and HP is enough? Like, they just clean up so well. Again, pushing the limit on BBT for that early aggression. And it just leaves no options for a team like Liquid into the mid and late game, other than just farm. And BBT knows what to do up against farm. Just keep that pressure, keep the aggression, allow Nightfall all the space in the world to farm up just in case, but he's not even necessary.
It certainly wasn't. BBT, I do agree. I think this might be the team that probably ends up first in their groups, just by the way things are going. Currently sitting at, what, 3-0 now? After this 2-0 against Liquid, still yet to be defeated in a single game, so we'll have to keep an eye out on these guys, see exactly how they do go. Of course, for Team Liquid, that does move them into still 4th place, I believe. So they are still tied 4th place with Secret and TSM. Still within the safety zone, but obviously for an org like Liquid, you know, they've got a lot of pressure on their shoulders. They want to be a bit higher than that. So we'll see if they get another opportunity a bit later on. Still, we are going to head off to a bit of an extended break. But right after that extended break, we'll be back with some more great Dota on the C stream. So don't go anywhere. We'll see you all again very soon.